Today's lesson is 6.7, Writing and Graphing the Equation of Circles. The equation of a circle with the center h, k and radius r units is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So as long as you know the center and the radius of your circle, you can go ahead and you can use this formula to write its equation. And then, of course, you can use this to graph as well. Notice that the theorem contains subtraction and that your center has an x and a y unit, and that both of these, the h goes with the x and the k goes with the y. Okay, I like to use color, so I'm going to go ahead and think of these as being peach, and I'll think of this one as being orange. And it's just going to help me when I go to plug stuff in. And then, of course, my R, I'll put it in the teal. There we go. And so now I can just go ahead and plug them in. Let's try an example. Write an equation of a circle with center of 8, comma negative 3. Remember, this is your H, this is your K, and radius of 6. Radius of 6. All right, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to remind myself that H is equal to 8, that K is equal to negative 3, and that my R, my radius, is equal to 6. And now what I can do is I can just go ahead and I can plug it into my formula. Right? There's my formula. Oh no. There we go. Let's go ahead and plug it in. So I'm going to go ahead and make my little skeleton here, which means I'm going to leave it so that I can plug in those numbers. All right, so this one would become 8. This one would be negative 3. And this one would be 6. Now, one thing I do notice is that right here with the y value, I have 2 subtractions, which I know are going to become an addition sign. Remember, minus a minus, 2 double minuses become a plus. So my final answer, my equation would be x minus 8, quantity squared, plus y plus 3, quantity squared, and 6 squared would be 6 times 6, 6 times 6, which I know to be 36. This is how you would want to write it. Okay? All right. How do I write an equation from a graph? So what if I have a graph of a circle? How do I write the equation? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw the radius. So here's my center in example 2. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw radius. Now you could draw any radius you want. Could you have drawn the radius like this? Yes, but to find the length of that is going to be a little bit harder. So it's always nice to go over to the right or over to the left, or to just go straight up or to go straight down. These are the 4 directions that you want to move from your center, because now all we have to do is find the length of it by counting. All we have to do is find the length by counting. Notice they're also telling us or use the distance formula. That would be used if you had done something like this. This is the radius. Yes, it is. But you would have to find this point, and do the distance formula. Distance formula. Ooh, it's been a long time. I think I'm going to count. I think I'm simply going to count. Let me grab my radius color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My radius is 5. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. I think I'll write it down right under here. The next thing I need to do is I need to use my center and the length of my radius, and then I can go ahead and I can write my formula. I have to find my center next. So my center is that point that they gave me right there in the middle. So I need to know, what is the x value? Well, if I count from 0, it is over to negative 1. So I'm going to put -1, and then I'm simply going to count up 1, 2, 3. It's 3 up. And I picked those colors because H is going to be -1 and K is going to be +3. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug it into my formula. I'm going to plug it into my formula. Let me go ahead and get my skeleton ready. Remember in the first one with H, and let me see if I can scroll it back down. There it is. There's my formula right there. There's my formula right there. In with the 8, in with the X is H, in with the Y is K, and then of course the radius goes right here. All right, don't forget with your radius, you are squaring it. So I am going to multiply 5 times 5. I do see here that in the first blank that I have that double negative. So a double negative is going to become a positive. And I'm going to have x plus 1 squared. I'm going to have y minus 3 squared. And 5 times 5 is 25. There's my equation. Okay, let's practice it one more time. Let's practice it one more time. Write the equation of this circle. So remember, you're going to draw your radius, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to count how long it is. 1, 2. R is 2. I need to find H, and I need to find, I'm trying to figure out, there we go. I need to find K. I need to find H and K. To find H and K, I just need to know what my center is. I need to know what the center is. It looks like my X is at 1, comma, and my Y, 1, 2. Since it went down, it is -2. Remember, down is negative and so is to the left. So H is 1, K is -2, and I'm going to plug it back into the formula. X minus H squared plus Y minus K squared equals R squared. Oops, there we go. Now, don't forget with the R that you are actually multiplying the 2 times the 2. Yes, you do have to do that. And I do see with this, with my Y this time, I have my minus, so that is going to become a positive. Just be on the lookout for that. That's really the only thing that could trip you up and could trick you. 2 times 2 is 4. There we go. All right, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about in this unit, guys, is the area of a sector. The area of a sector is the ratio of the area of a circle to the area of the area of a circle to the area of the whole circle is equal to the ratio of the measure of the intercepted arc to 360 degrees. So just like arc length, to find this shaded yellow area, what I can do is I can go ahead and make a ratio, which means I can cross multiply. So I'm going to divide my central angle, this angle right here at P, by the total angle degrees in a circle, which is 360. Notice that this first fraction needs to contain a degree over a degree. To find the area of the sector, this is the yellow shaded part, I'm going to divide it by the area of the whole circle. Okay, to find the area of the sector, the yellow shaded part, I'm going to divide by the area of a circle, which is pi times r squared. So here is our example, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to start plugging it in. So my central angle would be the 70 degrees, and of course 360 stays 360. They're asking me to find the area formed by the angle UTV, which is my shaded sector, so that would become my X. Most of the time, this part right here of your equation will become your X. But there are some times where R becomes your X. There are some times, but not now. Okay. And of course, pi, I could use 3.14. There we go. Times 8 squared. All right, I'm going to crisscross multiply, which means I'm going to multiply 360 times x. And it's going to equal, let me go ahead and change this to the dark orange, 70 times 64, that's 8 times 8 times pi. Now, it's always good that when you are multiplying by something that's a decimal like pi, to go ahead and don't do the multiplying until you absolutely have to. Because notice they are asking me to round, and they're asking me to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so just a quick reminder. I would divide by 360 on both sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Desmos and I am going to put this into Desmos. Okay, I'm going to go put this into Desmos. So I've got ahead and gotten the Desmos app, and I know this is the graphed one and not the scientific calculator that you're used to, but it actually acts like the graph as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put 70 times 64 times 3.14, and then I'm going to go ahead and divide that all by 360. Oops, no, that's not correct. Let's get rid of that. Here, let's try again. 70 times 64 times 3.14. There we go. Divide by 360. Wants to. There we go. I'm not putting it in correctly, guys. Here we go. 70 times 64 times 3.14. There we go. Divided by 360. There we go. 39.0755555555. Oops. Hundredth. Hundredth. Hundredth makes me think of 100. Remember, the decimal goes between the 1 and the very first zero, which means we want two numbers after the decimal. So we find the decimal, we count 1, 2. This is the number we want. This is the number that's going to decide should it stay 7 or should it become 8. These fives and everything else that was over there in my calculator didn't matter. They don't matter. So should it be 39.7 or 39.8? 5 or more, add one more. So I'm going to say 39.08, and it's centimeters squared because we're talking about area.